In the latest update from Elon Musk's brain implant company Neuralink, we have learned the fate of their very first human patient. Neuralink has begun the most controversial medical experiment of the 21st century, bringing science fiction into a real world that might not be ready for the consequences of a cyborg revolution. Neuralink has arrived. Now what comes next? On Sunday, January 28, 2024, Elon Musk's Neuralink carried out their first robotic operation on a human brain. The patient was implanted with a total of 64 wires directly into the tissue of their cerebral cortex, each wire containing 16 microscopic electrode sensors, and then a very small battery-powered computer device was nestled inside this person's skull before the incision was sealed up and the N1 chip was powered on for the first time inside a live human being. Elon Musk has confirmed that patient 0 survived the procedure in good health and is recovering well. Elon also noted that the Neuralink device has already begun to show promising neuron spike detection. Ever since the concept was introduced 8 years ago, Neuralink has felt like a purely speculative techno-fantasy, but in 2024, Neuralink is real and it works. He did it. He really did it. Elon put a Fitbit inside someone's skull. So now what? Well, Elon Musk promises that the first Neuralink product that will be tested is called telepathy. And by that, he means the first software application that will harness the capability of the N1 device that is currently resting inside the skull of at least one human being. I'm not getting over that anytime soon. Neuralink's telepathy will enable the user to control a smartphone or computer simply by thinking. And by extension, the Neuralink patient can use telepathy to control any external device that is connected to their computer or smartphone. So in theory, telepathy should allow the user to reach out and control pretty much anything. It is important to acknowledge right now that Neuralink has not just created a superhuman cyborg. In fact, our patient 0 and all of the other initial users of Neuralink are people suffering from an extreme physical disability, full body paralysis. So the purpose of this first clinical trial for Neuralink is to help restore some level of autonomy to people who have the least. The initial application that Neuralink has demonstrated is telepathic typing and cursor control. Just by thinking about the movement of the cursor on a computer screen, the Neuralink will enable a user to write messages, open applications, browse the web, and even play video games. This is all stuff that has already been demonstrated in the company's monkey experiments for years now. So this is what we can assume the first human Neuralink users are doing right now. And as Elon pointed out, if you can use a smartphone, you can operate any smart device that is linked to that phone. So even without having to move or speak, a patient could change their thermostat, dim the lights, open the blinds, activate the Roomba, lock their doors. All of these Internet of Things enabled devices are now accessible through Neuralink telepathy. But that's not all that Elon Musk has in mind for Neuralink's first human trials. Elon also teased that Neuralink is working on a second application that will join telepathy. This one is called blind sight. Elon has been surprisingly optimistic in recent months that even an early version of Neuralink could restore eyesight to the blind. The idea here is that the N1 implant could be used to beam digital vision from a camera directly into the brain. This one is a little further out, but in theory, it is possible. So with telepathy, the Neuralink device is being used exclusively as a transmitter. The implanted wires are picking up neural activation signals from inside the cerebral cortex, and then those signals are converted into computer language by the N1 chip and broadcast via Bluetooth into a nearby computer or device. If this is possible, then it would stand to reason that you could flip the process and transmit digital information from a device through Bluetooth into the N1 implant, which would then convert the digital signal into neuron activations. To accomplish this, the implant would send electrical pulses through the tiny wires into the brain tissue to stimulate the neuron response. If those wires were implanted directly into the visual cortex region of the brain, the specific patterns of neuron activation should be interpreted by the brain as visual input. So even a person who has never seen with their eyes before would be able to visualize the world around them. Now, this won't be anything like having real eyesight, but a low-resolution black and white image should be possible as long as we can activate the right neurons in the right patterns. Imagine something like an old Atari video game from the 1970s, where each pixel on the screen is either on or off. The graphics were very limited, but you could still create a recognizable image. And just like video game technology has improved over the decades to become more and more detailed, the same thing could be done with this new digital brain vision. Only progress will happen much, much faster thanks to machine learning. Hey everyone, as we cruise through the superhighway of innovation, I've stumbled upon something electrifying, and I just had to plug you in. Let's rev up our excitement for Novium's hover pen, a true symbol of sleek design and advanced engineering. So, what makes the hover pen so electrifying? Well, award-winning design. The Interstellar edition of the hover pen isn't just another writing tool, it was heralded as one of the best inventions of 2022 by Time, a testament to its unique design and functionality. You can spin the hover pen on its base, and it feels like the pen is in a gravity-free space. It's truly the coolest pen for any space enthusiast. Stellar inspiration, priced at $99, the Interstellar edition beautifully captures the Earth's axis inclination at a 23.5-degree angle. The colors are simply out of this world, from the deep expanse of space black, the shimmer of starlight silver, the fiery Mars magma, to the serene Neptune blue. For those who crave exclusivity, there are the premium editions, the radiance of 18-karat gold plating, and even a version with an actual meteorite shard embedded. The Future Edition. Novium isn't stopping there. Their latest masterpiece, the Future Edition, priced at $149, is a 2-in-1 marvel. Fountain pen or roller bar, you get to choose with its interchangeable tip, and for those who value unparalleled luxury, there's a premium edition featuring an 18 solid karat gold nib. Whether you're treating yourself or searching for that perfect gift for a loved one, hover pens are more than just writing instruments. They are a blend of art and the mysteries of space, offering an unrivaled writing experience and serving as a timeless piece of luxury. For the Tesla Titans of my community, here's an electrifying offer. Use code TESLASPACE and grab a 10% discount along with free shipping on all hover pens. Race into a world of luxury and design by clicking the link below. I'm also eager to know which edition caught your eye and why. Share your thoughts in the comments below. While Neuralink has always been the biggest headline-grabbing product in the modern world of brain-computer interface, Elon's company is really just one piece of a much larger puzzle that neuroscientists have been trying to solve for decades. How do we understand the human brain? The pursuit of decoding the human brain will become a multi-trillion-dollar industry in the decades to come, and Neuralink will have no shortage of competition. But in true Elon Musk fashion, his radical pursuit of innovation might stand the best chance of coming out on top. Synchron is another US-based BCI startup company that has already completed their first round of human trials in 2023, implanting 10 patients with their own neuron-sensing electrodes. This company is important to watch because it is currently being funded by Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, two wealthy and powerful individuals who do not seem to like Elon Musk very much. The method used by Synchron to access the brain is considerably less invasive than the procedure being done at Neuralink, which is a big factor in allowing human trials at Synchron to move at a faster pace. Instead of approaching the brain through the skull, Synchron uses a stent-based procedure that they call a stentrode. A stent is basically just a wire that is inserted into a blood vessel, which is just a large vein. They're like the highways of the circulatory system. Typically, doctors will use a stent to free up a blockage inside the vessel that might cause a heart attack or stroke. In the case of the stentrode, the device is using a primary blood vessel as an express lane directly from the chest into the cerebral cortex. Once the stentrode arrives in the brain to an area directly below the motor cortex, an expandable mesh is deployed that interfaces with the walls of the vessel. And this mesh contains 16 electrode sensors that can begin detecting and transmitting neural activity back down through the wire and into a device that is attached to the patient's chest. So how does that compare to Neuralink? Well, let's go back to what we were just talking about at the beginning. The first Neuralink patient has had 64 tiny wires inserted into the surface of their brain by an ultra-precise surgical robot, and each wire contains 16 electrodes just in the microscopic tip that goes around 2 millimeters deep into the brain tissue. That is a total of 1,024 individual electrodes that are distributed across the circular hole that's been cut into the patient's skull. And then, looking at our stentrode again, we have 16 electrodes placed inside a blood vessel that is adjacent to the brain material we want to monitor. Even with this significant disadvantage on paper, in practice, the Synchron BCI is currently able to achieve the exact same function that Neuralink is demonstrating with their current telepathy system: basic control over a keyboard, mouse, and smartphone device. And Synchron currently has 10 active human patients in their initial feasibility study that began in the summer of 2022. So, a pretty significant head start in product development. But the biggest problem with Synchron is that they've already pretty much reached their full potential with the stentrode system. Controlling a smartphone telepathically is about all that this particular style of implant can really accomplish, which is still cool, but it doesn't exactly provide much of an outlook for the future. While if we apply the same logic to Neuralink, then we can assume that the current telepathy application is only using something like 1/64th or less of the total potential that the hardware is capable of, which gives Neuralink a long-term outlook that is almost beyond comprehension. Elon Musk has speculated a lot of potential outcomes like curing brain disease, correcting mental illness, ending obesity, and interfacing the human brain with an artificial super intelligence. Now, there is obviously no evidence to say that Neuralink actually can do any of those things, but there's just as little concrete proof to say that it can't. All we really know is that we don't know the full potential of the Neuralink hardware, but we can take a look at another BCI technology that is as close to Neuralink as anyone else has come. This is BlackRock Neurotech. It sounds like a scary name, and it kinda is. BlackRock, along with another company called Vanguard, are famous for owning the entire world. BCI technology is one of the longest plays that BlackRock has been involved with, conducting their first human trial almost 20 years ago. BlackRock Neurotech are one of the pioneers of the invasive BCI, which is the same category that Neuralink falls under, meaning that the operation has to go in through the skull and gain access to the surface of the brain. Obviously, microscopic electrode wires and high-precision surgical robots didn't really exist 20 years ago, so the best option available at the time was an array of stiff, straight electrode pins. Due to the larger size and rigidity of the pins in the BlackRock array, they can't penetrate as deep into the tissue as a Neuralink thread. But even still, that direct connection through hundreds of electrode pins can provide a significant amount of bandwidth between the brain and the computer. Even with their relatively primitive approach, BlackRock has already demonstrated telepathic control over a computer many years ago. They've allowed people to control robotic arms just by thinking. They've even allowed a man who lost the use of his legs in a traffic accident to walk again on his own. So while their technology approach may be a bit primitive by modern standard, the list of accomplishments at BlackRock is extensive. Something that will take Neuralink a very long time to match, but it won't take them very much longer to exceed. If the BlackRock array can seemingly perform miracles with hundreds of electrodes penetrating 1 millimeter deep, then what can be accomplished with thousands of electrodes going 2 millimeters deep? So again, the long-term perspective is what makes Neuralink so captivating. There is no other device on the market, or even in concept, that will provide such a high bandwidth connection between brain and computer. And Neuralink is literally just getting started. This year is going to reveal some crazy discoveries that will redefine what we consider to be possible with the human brain. So, stay tuned.